They ended up transporting me to the room that I was gonna stay in. So on the way there, they let me go see her. We ended up going to the room and had to stay in the room without her. She was just still in the NICU or whatever. And they was telling me that she should be graduating to newborn. So meaning like newborn is like the nursery, the regular nursery that, you know, babies go to in the hospital if you have them, and you can see like everybody else baby. They were saying like she should be able to go there soon, which means she wouldn't be in the NICU no more. So long story short, like the stay that the how many days we was in the hospital, she was still in the NICU. Like me and Pa ended up like getting frustrated, and after like the second night, we was asking this nurse that was her nurse, like, why was she still in there? Like, she breathing on her own, why is she still in the NICU? And she said that when she came down and had the little thing, the breathing thing, they had to put a IV in her to give her like nutrients or whatever that she need, which she hadn't eaten or nothing yet. So she was saying that they have to monitor her glucose level, which is the sugar in her blood. And she was saying that that's why she's still there, because they have to gradually take her off of the IV fluid and like feed her gradually and see how she reacts and see how her glucose reacts. Because all the time, like, we would never get no answers. Like, whenever we would call down there, they would be like, oh, she's doing fine, she's doing real good, she's still breathing on her own, and blah blah blah. And so, you know, like, we was getting kind of frustrated to like, if she doing so fine, why is she still down here? Like, why is she still here? Like, she the biggest baby in the room. And you know, like, it was just really irritating. They told us she was gonna be down here for an hour. She been down here for days. We looking at the IV and stuff that's in her hand. It ended up first of all, the girl was transporting her from the back of the room to the front, and you know, like, cords, wires, the IV thing, everything, you gotta move with the bed, move with her bed. So the IV in her hand, and the lady like basically was pulling on it. And so Paul was like, hey, like, you pulling her arm, you pulling her hand, the IV, like. And she was just like, oh, it's okay, blah blah blah. And so, you know, he was mad, like super mad. But it ended up like looking weird, and her whole hand was like swollen, like her hand was swollen. So the lady took it out and was like saying she gonna have to put it somewhere else, and it's fine, it's not infected, and blah blah blah. Because we see her like, you literally just snatched on it, like, and you weren't even, like, you just moving too fast, you're doing too much. So she was trying to put it somewhere else. She was telling us like it's hard to, you know, like, find a good vein for babies and stuff like that. She ended up saying she may have to put it in her head, and we were like, no, like, you not finna put no IV in our baby head. And she was just like, I'm sorry, we may have to if I don't find a vein, blah blah blah. So we ended up leaving, and because she was attempting to put it in her hand. So, you know what I'm saying, we was thinking like, okay, like, you'll find a vein, we gonna leave. So the next morning I called, and they were it's a new nurse, a whole nother nurse. So so we ended up asking the girl like, how long will it take for y'all to gradually wean her off of the IV fluids and feed her to know when she gonna be ready to come from down here? And she was just like, oh, I don't know, like, I don't know, and it's not up to me. She just really could not give us no answers for real. Like, she was just like, it's not up to me, and we just have to see how she does based on her, which I understand. You know, I understand that it's all about, I mean, it's up to the patient and how the patient body handles things. But like, what's the estimate time of you seeing like healthy babies wean off of something? Like, ain't nothing wrong with her. There's nothing wrong with her. The only reason she down here is because y'all can't, you saying that y'all can't just take the IV out and give her to me and let me feed her because you gotta watch her glucose. All the next morning, and it's a whole new nurse, which this is the 3rd day now. At this point, I'm discharged. Like, they told me that I can go home, and my baby wasn't discharged. I'm in the room, was finna go up and see her because they asked me did I want to nurse her. So this is the 3rd day of her being here. This will be my first time nursing my baby. I'm supposed to be breastfeeding. Haven't even had a chance to like do nothing, like no latching or nothing to the 3rd day. So I ended up going down there. Well, I ended up talking to the lady, telling her I'm gonna come, and she was like, "Don't be alarmed. She has an IV in her head." And I'm like, what? Like, y'all really put an IV in her head? And she was just like, yes, it looks scary, but I promise you it's like it's probably easier, like if you gonna come nurse her, it's probably easier, blah blah blah. So at this point I'm pissed off. Like, I feel like y'all just, I just feel like how come all of a sudden you couldn't find another vein? Like, you were just talking about this and y'all really put that in her head. Like, literally just put it in her head. We get down there and see her, and it just looks so just like, why is my baby down here? You'll never expect like your own child to be like sick or going through something and you can't do nothing about it. But I tried to, like, let it go and just tried to hope for the best, but I was like so hurt, y'all. Like, I was so sad, and my baby was like up there getting stuck 1,000 times because of the IV. They kept checking her for all kind of blood work that all came back fine. She got checked for her glucose like every freaking like 4 times a day. I ended up nursing her and she was latching on good, but she did have the IV in her head, which was so weird. But it didn't look like it bothered her much, but it ended up like leaning in her head, like leaning to the side. So I asked the nurse, which was a different nurse than the other one, I was like, is her IV okay? It looked like it's leaning. So she was like, she was looked at it and was like, it came out. So this nurse was like, I really do not want to stick her again in her head. Like, I really don't want to stick her again in her head. I'm gonna go talk to my attending or whoever and see about getting her to newborn today. Now this lady saying a whole nother story than what the previous nurse was saying, all because she didn't want to have to stick her again with another IV in her head. So she was like, they said it's fine. So she ended up not putting it back in. She took it out and she ended up doing just fine. She ended up eating good, which they had to like give her a bottle and stuff because my breast milk wasn't in yet. So I had to give her a bottle while in the hospital to like basically help her get out of the NICU. Like, they just she came to the room with me. So they called my nurse called me and asked me did I want to stay another night. So they moved me from out of the patient rooms to like this family room. My baby got to stay with us in the room, and it was just, that was like the happiest moment since like the birth. They kept checking her glucose while she was with us, and it came back fine every time. And I really saw a turning point for the good, like when I like just let it go and just just said that God will literally handle it. Like, he'll handle it. It's out of control. And that's literally what happened. That same night she came into our room, and Casey was so excited to meet her because he wasn't allowed in the NICU. Like, she's asleep right now. I will show y'all, but she just everything I could have ever wanted. And that is my birth story. for my second baby, my baby girl. Her name is Mila Amore Perryman. She was born December 5th, 2019. We're thankful that my baby is healthy and she is home, and we are blessed, very, very blessed. But thank y'all so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.